Hey, I'm Kurt Berry, a freshman from Saluda, South Carolina, and I've recently done my new student dialogue, and this is the video chat portion. And I thought the new student dialogue was pretty interesting. Um, I had the one concerning religion and spirituality and the connections of it. I chose this one because I think most people believe that religion is an interesting topic, and I believe that everybody questions is there something greater out there, and if not, at least they have a little bit of spirituality about themselves. I've always believed that religion and spirituality are kind of linked together since I come from a strong Christian background, like where I live. My community is centered around the church, and I've been to church my whole life as a Southern Baptist, and I feel like I'm well grounded in my beliefs. But this was an interesting dialogue, and I believe that we did achieve um, a good dialogue. The group had thoughtful discussions, and surprisingly, everybody was very respectful of one another, and nobody put anybody else down. Statements were always followed up by other statements, and it kept the thing interesting, kept it going. Um, we had a pretty good group, discussion group. Most were religious people, I guess you could say religious, or they followed some kind of religion, mainly Christianity. And there were also others who weren't religious, and but either way, we all had great respect for one another, and nobody, like I said earlier, nobody put anyone else down, and we kept things interesting. As for group dynamics goes, there were some very active voices. These people weren't just rambling, but they posed valid points. They kept the conversation from getting boring, and they prompted thought, I guess you could say, like got the rest of the group thinking to where they would reply if they felt necessary, and like there weren't many, let's say, open spots throughout the dialogue because of the dynamic characters in the dialogue. There were also some reserved voices in our dialogue group. They were pretty helpful also by providing well-developed thoughts whenever they felt the need. So I've always figured like if you don't speak that much, you always have time to let stuff cook up in your brain. And it's like a soup. The longer it cooks, the better it tastes. So the smarter statements they have to make. I was one of the more dynamic voices in the group. I surprisingly had relatively organized thoughts instead of just like rambling on and sounding like an idiot, you know. Because I mean, sometimes when people talk a lot, they just talk to hear themselves talk and don't make much sense or prove valid points. I helped keep awkward silences from happening during the dialogue, and I had fun. I mean, the prompters told us at the beginning, it's like you make whatever you want to out of it, and like if you speak, you'll have fun. If you don't, you won't have as much fun. And I had fun. It's actually better than I figured it would be, and I didn't mind sitting in there for 2 hours and speaking about what we did. The first, the first 45 minutes or so was kind of boring. I was thinking, why are we here? You know, because they were going over things like like going through the papers that were talking about ourselves individually and talking about like um, dialogue, discussion, and something else that had to go with what we were doing. But in the end, I think it all helped, like the paperwork stuff in the beginning, and it helped get us in the right track of where we needed to be during the dialogue. And I think that this stuff's pretty important as far as um, like us being new students, you know. So, because dialogue, we'll have dialogue such as this like throughout our college career. It might not necessarily be the same setup, but you're going to have discussions in class where you might need to state your opinion and you know how to prove valid points when you're speaking and don't look like an idiot. And also, it's like you'll have like discussions with others on campus. You'll like understand how you should go about speaking to them about touchy subjects, maybe, and what to say and what not to say, and how to approach things. But I think this is a good program y'all have going, and I've enjoyed it. And thank you so much.